Shoot your arrows! Cooper Kupp plucks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. Robert Woods, touchdown! LA! Dog goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. Picked off. Marcus Peters coming off the edge. And Ryan will be wrapped up by Clay Matthews. Everett in stride! Wow!
Franklin Myers gets his hand down there.
Leto got a hand on it. Did he pick it? He did!
Racing down the sideline is Akeem Talib. Gurley for MVP! Touchdown LA!
Picked off by John Johnson.
Well, Dante Fowler, who is able to get to breathe. Greg Zuerlein sends the Rams to the Super Bowl! LA will play for the Lombardi!
All right, join the show. We have Washington State running back James Williams. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And just to get this started, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
It started at an early age. My dad was an all-star basketball player when he was in high school, so he tried to get me to play basketball, and then he figured out that I was playing way too physical, tackling people, and and trying to get down the court as fast as I could. And when I got introduced to football, it was everything. That was just a sport for me. I was always, running back, but when I was in Toledo, they had me playing in at linebacker or DN or other stuff. But we would play pickup games, and they just give me the ball, and I just start running and trying to juke everybody that could. And I just fell in love with it at that point.
That's awesome, man. And, growing up, did you have a favorite, NFL football player?
Oh, yeah. LaDainian Tomlinson, so LT.
Yeah, good pick for sure.
I love his game. I tried to base my game off of his, and I saw that he never got in trouble, so I always want to surround myself and look up to people like that. He had I ain't never seen him get in trouble. He ain't had no criminal records. He was, all through the NFL. He had a good career and a good dude. So I'm hoping I can meet him one of these days.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome. And, when it came time for you to play in college, you ended up going to Washington State. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
Huh?
When it came time for you to play in college, you ended up going to Washington State. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
The Coach Mastro. We built a bond, and I always wanted to go somewhere that I felt wanted, and I had a good relationship with the coaches. So like when I got recruited by everybody else, and other offers I had, the coaches, they would call me like every other month or every other 2-3 weeks. And Coach Mastro, he called me almost every day, and he made sure he kept in touch with me every day, and he came to see me every time he had an opportunity to go recruiting. So I felt super close to him real fast, and he understood everything about me. So that was the reason why.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. To have that relationship, obviously, and that led to you going there. But I want to talk about, early on in your college career, you end up redshirting. Take me through that process. Obviously you want to get in there and you want to play, but, we've talked to so many guys on here that have redshirted, and it's really been beneficial for them, as they've said. But what is your redshirt experience? What was that like?
It's kind of the same because, so I tore my ACL, MCL my senior year high school, the second game, very first kickoff return that we had, tore my ACL, and missed my whole senior season. And so I didn't want a red shirt after that because, I didn't want to miss out on another year playing. So what got me talked me into a red shirt was Eric Dickerson, that played for the Rams, and he's my manager and my agent now. So he was the one that actually talked me out of it. So I did a camp with him on Father's Day for father's kids, and he talked to me for 30 minutes to an hour, telling me, you you're gonna get bigger, stronger, and faster, and you're gonna adjust to the game a little bit better if you was out this year, because I didn't play all of my senior year, so I was gonna be going back to some guys that, like, it was a different speed, you know what I mean? And so my whole redshirt year, I just got every play down way better. I got bigger, I got faster, and I adjusted to the game. Everything that you told me it was going to happen happened. So that's kind of what I was going through.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And, from your time at Washington State, I'm sure that you have a lot of favorite memories, maybe favorite games that you played in and things like that. But is there any favorite overall memory from your time playing there that you have?
Oh, yeah, for sure. All the Oregon games, basically. This past year when we played Oregon on College game day, it was a lot of firsts for our team in history this past year. We was 11-2, the best team in Washington State history. So that was clearly one of my favorite memories, winning the Alamo Bowl. And but it's top in Oregon. It's College game day was there. That was probably the best experience I've had in my college career. And it was fun. Everybody was juiced up. It was just a different atmosphere. So that was probably my favorite one.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And to even, go further back, saying that, Eric Dickerson's like your age, I mean, that's pretty incredible. Being a Rams-based podcast, I think you just gained a ton of fans just mentioning his name. But, with that being said, we like asking players when they come on here, because you played in the Pac-12. You went up against the USCs, the Oregons, the Stanfords, all of that, and of course Washington. But who is the toughest player that you yourself went up against in college?
That's hard. It's a lot of good ones. We played Arizona State, ASU. Yeah, we played ASU, and I forget his name, but he was number 3. He was that linebacker. I always forget his name, but he's probably the toughest guy that I played against. I always forget his name, but he was probably the toughest guy I played against.
Yeah, and, you played against a lot of tough competition, as Jake just said, but you also played with a lot of really talented guys, one of them being Gardner Minshew, who was your quarterback. What was it like playing with him?
Oh, he was amazing. He's probably my favorite quarterback I played with, and that's because what type of person he was and what type of leader he was. The first day he got on campus, he was trying to run the show, and we needed leaders like that, because I'm not a vocal leader. I'm one of those leaders that go out and lead by example. Go out there and practice harder than everybody else. And if everybody else see that, then that's going to make everybody else want to work hard, which makes the team way better. And he was vocal. He didn't care about hurting people's feelings, but he was cool with you at the same time. And usually you get those guys that always get in their feelings because you said something to them, if they like talking while the coach is talking or something like that. Gardner didn't care. He wanted nothing but the best for the team, and that's exactly what he did every single day in practice. And when we was losing in games, he'd fought himself if he made a mistake and make sure everybody know that was going to be cool and we was going to win that game. And 9 times out of 10 that happened. Yeah.
So to go back to the original ASU guy that you mentioned, I think you were talking about DJ Calhoun, who is literally, I don't think I've ever seen anybody hit a player harder than DJ Calhoun did.
Yeah.
So I think that answers the first question. And then, talking about Gardner, I mean, I had a pleasure of, speaking with him at the Senior Bowl, and he's fantastic. I've only spoke with him for probably 2 to 3 minutes, and you can definitely tell, he's one of the better quarterbacks in this draft and true leader, and, understands the game. And, obviously just you guys, it translated to the field. I mean, you guys had Luke Falk there, and, he takes over, and I thought he did an amazing job. I thought Luke was really good too. So, having that quarterback play, obviously must have helped. But, kind of, moving forward, how has this whole pre-draft process been for you? Because, it must be a little difficult. Like, you go through this whole season and then you have your bowl games and all that. And then you're right back into the grind and now you're ready to go to the NFL and now you're getting poked and prodded left and right. So what has this been for you as far as the pre-draft process goes?
It's, like you said, it's been a grind. It was fun. It's crazy. Like right after the bowl, like you said, right after the bowl game, I went straight to California and started hitting the ground running, and it was miserable for the first couple of weeks just because we didn't work out for the last 2 weeks before I got there because we had bowl week before bowl prep. We don't lift on that week, and then we went to the bowl in San Antonio. We didn't do nothing but have fun, eating, and and everything went great. But when I got to California, all that caught up to me. But everything has been a crazy grind. But I feel really good, and I feel like I did everything I can do throughout the draft. I mean, not the draft, but the combine and pro day. So it's out of my hands now. I just can control what I can control, and now I'm just waiting.
Yeah, of course. And, the process, as you mentioned, is a lot, and you get to do a lot of things. And one of those for you was the combine.
No, the combine was like, so me growing up and like any other football player in high school, we used to watch that every single week and all that. And I mean, not a week, but every single year. And, my friends would talk about how, like, well, what if we was there? And like, that's like the biggest thing, that was the biggest thing to us, So when I got the invitation, I'm like, oh my God, it's crazy. So nothing didn't hit. I was there all week. First of all, it's mentally draining. I didn't know it was going to be, they make it seem like you're going to get there and you're going to run a 40, then do a little bit of drills. No, and it's not cake at all. Like I thought. The whole week I'm there, we're just doing psych testing. I got 100 different, medical team staffs pulling on my leg just to make sure I'm fine. And I had to go through MRIs and all the psych testing. It was crazy. And, the funnest part was Friday. So at that point, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? So, and then nothing didn't hit me till I lined up for the 40 because that's literally everything I've been dreaming of since I was in high school, So when that happened, everything went like black after that. So I felt like I had a really good combine. Everybody there was cool. It was great to be around all these great athletes in the country in my position, and everything went well. And I had a bunch of talks with a lot of coaches. The coaches I liked a lot. I vibed really well with a lot of position coaches. So I felt like it went real good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And, obviously you go through the combine and then you have your pro day. And I saw the pictures, you there with all your teammates. It looked like you guys were, having fun. Of course, that might have been taken before the pro day, but, how was that experience, man?
It was real good because, to be honest with you, the pro day was just as nerve-wracking as the combine to me. I guess some people else too, but to me it was just as nerve-wracking just because, like, I had a good combine, so I got to show out and do either just as or better than I did the first time, you know what I mean? And my teammates made it a little bit better because I was in my environment in Pullman, and I had my teammates there with me, so I felt a little bit more comfortable and more relaxed, and all of us just fed off each other as like a train reaction. Everybody did their thing. And the whole week prior, we just helping each other out, doing whatever we had to do to make each other better.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when I watch you play, I think you're a player of many strengths, but I'm just curious, in your own opinion, what is your biggest strength as a player?
My biggest strength is catching the ball, because you don't see a lot of running backs take as much pride as catching the ball and running it. So, like, for example, when I was in Indy, it was some running backs that was like, dude, I can't catch the ball. I don't know what I'm going to do. And then I had a guy ask me, like, what about you? You nervous at all about it? Can you catch some, like, should I read my resume? Oh, this is what I do. We got a drill in practice at WSU that's literally called Routes on Air. And that's all we do is catch and run routes, and that's literally what we did when I was in Indy. So all those drills that we doing was nothing to me, you know what I mean? And catching the ball, like I said, I'll take just as much pride as catching the ball and running it. So I feel like that's important. And me and my dad always talked about the NFL changing to running backs that can catch the ball, because you see like James White and Alvin Kamara is perfect things to compare me with. And I think that I can go in there and do it just as good as what they're doing right now, because everybody in the league want running backs to catch out the backfield, and I feel like I'm a perfect candidate for that.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, not every running back can catch out of the backfield. I mean, I know I won't just go on a burn session and name all the guys that can't, but it's very valuable in the league. I mean, but the thing about your game, James, is that you're a very well-rounded back. And, you know, today's game, everyone's looking for the guy that runs a 4.3 at the combine, but it's like the guy that runs a 4.3 maybe can't, you know, he doesn't work in pass pro, or he doesn't catch well, or, you know, there's always these faults, and you're just so well-rounded. So, you know, I think it's kind of funny, you know, because people get so caught up in like one thing, the 40-yard time, and it's like, dude, if you run the 4.5s, you're good. Like, exactly. You know, so
and I was comparing myself. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. I mean, you know, just basically saying, you know, you ran a 4.58, I believe. I didn't see your pro day time, but I saw your combine time. Bottom line is, you play way faster than that on tape.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, you know, that's kind of, you know, that you're never going to come out of a sprinter stance as a running back.
Ever.
So it's like, you know, I don't know how realistic that the 40 time really you can take it, because you're not going to do that as a quarterback. You're not going to do it as a wide receiver. You're not going to do it at any position in the NFL. So, you know. But yeah, what were you saying?
That's my thing too. Everybody are just great test takers. You know what I mean? You can be a beast at being really good at taking all these tests, doing agility, doing all that stuff, but then can you translate it on the field? Because there's some guys that run crazy fast. Like, it was a guy, I don't know, I forgot who, but it was a guy that ran a 4.3 something, some crazy time, and then he did a slower shuttle time than Tom Brady. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? And all these dudes, it's a lot of guys that's from these big time schools that's a little bit overrated to me. And just because of the school I go to a Pac-12 school, I don't get looked at as much as I feel like I should. You know what I mean? And I'm not being cocky or big-headed at all. I feel like I did a lot of, because if I was like, let's say if I was at Alabama and I caught 83 balls, that would have went national. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
I think it's you know, a little bit crazy, but I mean, I can control what I can control. You know what I mean? So I just got to go out and show out and prove. You know, it was some people that told me I wasn't even make it to the combine, or, you know, be even in the top 10 of people doing it. So I feel like I did just that, and I feel like I can play with anybody. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and you know, love that answer. And you know, if anyone comes to mind, there might not even be a answer to this question, but is there anyone who comes to mind, maybe a player that you've modeled your game after or tried to incorporate elements of their game into your own?
From the NFL?
Yeah, or just in general.
Well, I try to base my game off LT, but right now I try to base my game off of, you know, like James White or Alvin Kamara, just because they literally run the same routes and do all the same things that I can do out the backfield. So I feel like if I'm playing like them, then I'll probably have somewhat of a shot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I mean, you just like some of these runs that I saw on film. Like, can you take me through that Oregon touchdown run where you broke like the entire team's tackles?
Yeah. So that play, when he caught it, I was like, this ain't gonna work, because Oregon was playing a defense where I wasn't gonna be able to go inside. Period. You know what I mean? And so, first of all, the snap was low, and I'm like, all right, I don't know what's about to happen. So I just had to wing it at that point, because I was supposed to go to the middle and one of our linemen got beat, and then I got 2 rushers outside waiting on me to get outside. So I saw those 2 rushers, and I knew I couldn't go in the middle because one of our linemen was getting beat. And so I tried to, to give myself a chance, I tried to, stick my left foot in the ground and kind of act like I was going in the middle so those 2 rushers can come in, and they bit off of it. So it gave me a chance to get outside. So I got outside, and the guys that I stepped on, I just felt them there. It's just certain things that I don't even need to see to make something happen. You know what I mean? So I didn't really see them there. I just felt them, and then I just made a play out of that. And so it was the guy that I think the corner tried to wrap me up, and he was spinning off me in the first place. Somebody else hit me in the back, and it like accelerated my spin. And so I lifted my knee straight up in the air right when that happened, and that's where I got kind of lucky. So I lifted my knee, and I was in a full sprinter stance when I turned back around, and I had full control of my body. So it wasn't like I spent out of control and, did all that. So then when I seen that opening, I just went for it. And then as soon as I seen that last dude, I just tried to dive. Some people say I tried to dive from the 5-yard line, but I just tried to get there as fast as I could. But that whole thing was it was crazy to me even. But I got up juiced because it was on college game day and it was the first score. So.
I mean, that was the best run I've seen in 3 years. I mean, people don't understand the degree of difficulty. I mean, you did a 360 at one point to spin out of a guy's, tackle, and then you had the wherewithal to know where you are inbounds, make sure you don't step out, and then you just, full on accelerate like you ran a 4.3. Again, shows why the 40 time doesn't really matter a ton. And then the dive, like to get in the end zone. I mean, there's no way in your mind you could have thought at the beginning of that play, yeah, this is going to end up being a touchdown.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a TFL for sure. That's in my mind the entire time because we shouldn't have ran that play at that time, but we did anyways. And we ignored the fact that these pass rushers, these rushers at the end wasn't about to be free, and people was getting. It was like 3-4 people that wasn't even blocked. So I had to make something work because I did it a lot in high school. And in high school, that's fine because there's a lot of kids that's not that athletic. But in college, everybody on the field is athletic. So I had to make something happen out of nothing.
Right. Well, you certainly did. It's certainly very impressive and something I think that people will have in their minds for a really, really long time. But, speaking of like runs and things like that, this next question is just kind of like a fun question we like to ask running backs who come on the show. But, if you had to pick one person, who would you most want to juke by to score a game-winning touchdown in the NFL? That's anybody? Anybody.
I probably want a big dog. So probably like Aaron Donald.
Oh wow. You
yeah.
Wow. Juke and Aaron Donald.
On my head, I had that scenario on my head one day. Unless I was on his team, then I'd probably be on scout and then try to do it in practice. But because I know he's a hard dude, because, me going against players like that is just going to only elevate my game. You know what I mean? So that's a compliment, too. I'm not talking smack whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I get that. Obviously we'd hope that you'd be wearing the horns, not doing that against horns.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Regardless of where you go, we're going to be fans of your game. Just can't stress that enough. But I got to ask you, because we are a Rams podcast, and you mentioned Eric Dickerson. You got all the Rams fans going nuts now. Have you met or spoken with the Rams throughout this process?
I only spoke with a scout from the Rams. So he asked me all the basic stuff. Did I have a criminal background, and what's my number for draft day and all that stuff. So that's basically. And then I talked to him once in Indy. So that's pretty much the only times I communicate with him.
Nice. So you would say you met with him at the pro day and the combine?
No, just the combine.
Oh, just
and
the
then,
combine. Okay.
and then I got a text from him right after pro day.
Gotcha.
Well, we certainly
So,
like to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying there's a lot of people that tell me it's going to be a lot of teams that you don't even know about that's probably going to want you. You know what I mean? Because I talked to a bunch of teams, but they say usually you get a team that they ain't even really talk to you, like, 'cause they don't want people knowing that you're going to go to them. You know what I mean? And so, like, in my head, me and my dad always talk about, like, what if, like, Eric Dickerson had all these, connections, and then the Rams ended up taking me because, C.J. Anderson just left and Todd Gurley kind of be hurt right now. So I'll be a good backup for him. But we'll see, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we would want you. I mean, you're one of the best running backs in this class. I really don't think you get enough credit. I overly just watching your game, and like you said, you have the best run of the year. If you played for Alabama, I mean, those two guys, Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs, they're great. But you're going to have two Alabama guys get drafted in probably the first 4 rounds. You had 2 Georgia guys get drafted, rounds 1 and 2. I agree with you. The Pac-12 doesn't get enough love. I would say the Big 12 doesn't get enough love at times. I think people get really caught up in the SEC, and there are some amazing players in the SEC. But I think we really just have to, as scouts, evaluators, fans, we have to really just look at everything as a whole. I mean, you play in the FBS, you played in a winter game that no one ever mentions. But I remember watching that on TV. I'm like, how did you even play in those conditions? I mean, that was insane. Just things like that, because you get the late, I think really that's more so what it is, James, is you guys get the 10 o'clock showing on the East Coast, things like that, where it's like, you're not pushed off to the side because the time difference, but it's still, I think that's a lot of what it has to do. Plus there's a lot of East Coast bias because I live in New York, but
yeah, because, we went 11-2. And so nobody really talked about it as much as they would if Alabama went 11-2, or they go on 14-0 every year though. But at the same time, in the Pac-12, we doing that. If Stanford was 11-2, or if Oregon was 11-2, they'd make it known. You know what I mean? They have shirts saying 11-2 everywhere in the country. But since we're not one of those big time schools that people don't really talk about a lot, we didn't get that much recognition. Like you said, we don't get a lot of credit for what we did, because a lot of people thought we was just going to go, winning only 4 games, especially when our quarterback, died, and everybody thought we was screwed for the rest of the season. We ended up winning 11 games, so I think that's it's crazy to me.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. And, I think although you guys don't get the credit you deserve and maybe not as much attention paid to you, you certainly made people pay attention with the way you played and the way that, you guys have been able to accomplish a lot as a team, and you individually as well. I think a lot of people paid attention and were really impressed. I know Jake and I were, and we think you're an absolute beast, and we would love for you to end up on the Rams. But no matter where you end up, we're going to be fans of you and, follow your career for sure, because we know that big things are coming for you in the NFL level. We're confident in that. But
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, of course. And, just to, wrap it up, we just want to know in your own words, who is James Williams as a player and who is he as a person?
I'm a super resilient guy on the field, on and off the field, and I'm a super genuine person. And whoever knows me knows that. I'm never gonna make no organization look stupid. Like in college, I never went out. I had friends that always got mad at me because I didn't go out. I was a homebody. I got a fiance, and I don't go out and try to make anybody look crazy or stupid in any way. And I mean, I'm a personable person. You can come up to me and talk to me, and whoever know me, I'll talk to you for 10 minutes. If I don't know you, you feel like we didn't met and been on each other for like 15 years. But yeah, I'm goofy too. So whoever know me knows that too. You'll see a lot of that, a lot of personality for sure.
Hey, well, but we love that. We love personality. We've done over 100 interviews this year. All right, not this year, the last 2 months. We love getting to talk to all the draft prospects, and I reached out to you with kind of a last ditch effort where I was kind of like, the draft's coming up. I know he's busy, but like I can't. Like I finished my running back rankings. I'm like, I gotta get this guy on the show, and I really appreciate you getting back to me so quickly and scheduling this. It's been a blast. We've said this so many times, but we're going to be fans of you, moving forward. And, man, just best of luck. Keep doing your thing. I love the whole, you're not a head case off the field. I know, obviously, head cases off the field aren't going to say, yeah, I'm a head case off the field. But,
yeah.
But, it's just you can tell you obviously have a good head on your shoulders. You have the right mentality. You have a legend in Eric Dickerson that has your back. I mean, that doesn't just happen to anybody. You have to be legit in your craft. And if anybody knows anything about running backs, it's Eric Dickerson. So, I wish you the best of luck, man. And I'd love it if we could all stay in touch because we're going to be following you for sure.
No problem at all. No problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, we just can't thank you enough. We are so excited, as Jake said, to get to talk to you. And, especially because, the draft now is only a few days away. So we know that you're probably really busy and, are excited as well and maybe got, some nerves and all that. But it did mean a lot to us that you took the time to come on the show.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. This is our last interview. We're closing the book, and I mean, it's special to have you on. I think you're going to do big things, and man, we're excited for draft night, and we really can't wait to see where you end up. Hopefully, it's Horns, but no matter where, we'll be fans.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, of course. Have a good one, James.
You too. Thank you.
All right, joining the show, we have Troy cornerback Blace Brown. How's it going, man? Thanks so much for coming on.
It's going good, man. Thank you guys for contacting me.
Yeah, of course. And just to start this off, we just want to hear a little bit about how you got into the game of football.
I grew up in Virginia playing football, flag football, and they didn't have tackle back then, so I played flag all the way through. Moved back to Georgia, and my dad got me and my brother into it right away, and ended up first getting into tackle football, and I was timid. I'm not gonna lie, I was timid, but went to middle school ball, got pretty good, and then high school. I played a corner my first 3 years, just like my dad did when he was in college, and then I switched to receiver my last year in high school. That's how I basically grew up playing, just my dad being a football player with me and my brother.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And kind of, looking up as you were growing up, who would you say was your favorite player in the NFL at that time?
Troy Polamalu.
That's a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
He was. I just love the way he played the game, man.
Yeah, definitely. And, when it came time for you to play in college, you ended up committing to Troy. What was the main factor for you in choosing them?
Well, I had no offers out of college. My coach said it had to do with my lower GPA and then being a DB and then all of a sudden switching to wide receiver. I wasn't on the radar. But I didn't have any offers coming out, so I drove up with my mom to Wisconsin. And we went to go visit this college called Carthage College, and then we went to Illinois to visit this school called Rockford. And I wasn't feeling it. It didn't feel at home, and I didn't have any offers, and I kind of was seeing where reality was taking me. So I told my mom, look, I'm just going to get a job, go to community college close to home, and, try to work through life. And I told her I gave up on the football thing. I was just facing reality. And then at the last minute in the summer, Troy called me and they said, we got a walk-on spot for you. So I took it.
That's awesome, man. And, just that journey and everything, talking about Rockford and, getting a job and at that point kind of realizing like not really that you're right, but you're realizing at that point in yourself, like, this may not work out. So, then you get obviously you walk on at Troy. You play a little bit, I believe, your freshman year, and then you end up redshirting your sophomore year. So I want to ask you, what did you learn from that experience? Because, we've had a ton of guys on that have redshirted, and they talk about it being one of the best experiences, and it's not, obviously you want to play, but you just learn so much. But what was your experience like throughout that?
Well, mine was terrible. I kind of my freshman year, I kind of had the mentality of, I can play with these guys right away and got us some special teams. But then once my grades started to fall, and Coach Blakeney retired, Coach Brown redshirted me, I kind of just went the other route. I didn't take advantage of it. I slacked. I didn't do any homework. I wasn't working hard in the gym. I didn't lift any weights. And then my mom threatened me with a pull out of school statement, and she was going to send me to military school. And that kind of scared me back into promising her that I'm going to get a scholarship. And I turned it on that summer. That's when I got that switch transition from wide receiver to DB, which was perfect timing. And I worked my butt off in the hot sun instead of taking a nap. I worked out every day and it eventually got a scholarship from my coaches.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story and, an awesome turnaround for sure. And, your time at Troy, you probably have a lot of favorite memories or favorite plays or favorite games. But is there any memory that stands out to you the most?
What stand out to me to the most, really? I have said the LSU game a lot. But I think my first interception against New Mexico State, it kind of brought me back to the old days of playing DB. And I got another pick in the same game, and I just felt like I was the natural at playing this position. So that was a good memory that I had. I actually saw the video the other day, so that was probably my favorite memory besides the LSU game, the interception at the end of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought the LSU game would be up there for sure. Obviously that's a huge play that you'll remember probably for the rest of your life. But I want to ask you, you played at Troy and you played some big time, competition. A lot of your guys, these are going to be NFL players just like yourself. So I want to ask you, who was the toughest player you went up against in college?
Toughest player? I'd have to say either Mike Williams from Clemson or DJ Chark. He got me pretty good.
Ooh. DJ's blazing fast.
Yeah, he was fast, and he got me on a ball, and I still take that heart today because I don't like getting caught on. But yeah, he was pretty tough. Brett Rippin from Boise State. We actually got pretty close at the East-West Shrine game, and he was actually a pretty tough opponent at quarterback. So yeah, I think. Probably Brett Rippin or DJ Chark.
Yeah, and speaking of the East-West Shrine game, what was your experience like there?
It was good, man. Just seeing, it's kind of crazy how you go through your college years playing against these guys, and then you end up at a game with them. And that was just a crazy experience that it's the same guys that worked their butt off just like I did, going for the same goal. So I had a great time. It was a good experience. Became friends with a few of those guys, and now we're all just wishing each other for the best and hope our name gets called.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You mentioned that. It's kind of cool because, you have the whole – it's in St. Petersburg, and you're playing, inside where the Rays play at Tropicana. And it's basically, you have the Shriners Hospital visit, and then, you go through and – you get, coached by these guys. And, a lot of these All-Star games, what's your overall thought on the All-Star game kind of going through the process? Do you think it's a good, say, intro into this whole pre-draft process?
I think it was a good intro for, your relationship with coaches and how they're going to act because they didn't sugarcoat anything. They weren't trying to like baby us into the whole process. They got right into it. So I think coaching wise, they got us familiar with it.
Yeah, and another thing that you competed at was the combine. How was that?
Man, that was a once in a lifetime experience. I had a lot of fun. I got told a lot that it wasn't what you see on TV, and they were exactly right. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, like everybody else, you had your pro day. I want to know, first off, what you took away from that experience, and then also how well did you think you did?
I think I surprised myself. I improved my 40 time a little bit, which I didn't expect much of change, just with my history of my knee still getting stronger and all that. But I didn't do the vert as well at the combine, and I decided to do the vert at the pro day, and I jumped way higher than I thought I was going to get up with my explosiveness. So that just let me know and gave me confidence that my body is healing and starting to get stronger a lot faster than I thought it was.
That's awesome. And, just watching you play and seeing what you can do, I think that you're a player of many strengths. But in your opinion, what is your biggest strength as a player?
My biggest strength as a player is just my athleticism enough to catch the ball. Like a lot of people call me a ball hawk, and they call me greedy a lot, but I think that I'm just like, when I see that ball in the air, I believe I can come down with it every time. And I think confident, that's the best thing that you can have. They talk about my IQ a lot, and I think I have a pretty high IQ on knowing receivers' tendencies and knowing what they like to do coming out of a route. So,
yeah, and Blace, as we enter the draft, what are you most looking to improve upon, in your game?
My aggressiveness, my tackling, because I heard of a lot of announcers saying that I'm not the same guy because of my knee injury last year. And I'm tired of hearing all of them say that. So I'm just trying to show them my aggressiveness and my physicality, and so that I can step up and show them what I got.
Yeah. And, what do you think that you bring to the table that no other cornerback brings in this draft?
No other corner brings as much energy as I do. I know that for a fact. A lot of my friends and family that know me very close, they know that I'm always energized, always dancing, and always like trying to keep the juice flowing. So I don't think anybody's coming in as much energy as me, and I think that's what you need the most, especially when things go wrong, because everybody can be hyped when everything's going good, but my energy never stops.
Yeah, and kind of a fun question here as we kind of gear towards these NFL questions we like to ask. Who do you most want to cover in the NFL?
Who do I most want to cover in NFL? Well, my friend kind of yelled at I don't know if you guys know, but I tweeted at Odell Beckham about probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he replied back and told me to choose the route. And then my friend later went to a Cavs game up in the press, and he saw Odell and yelled, "Do you know who Blace Brown is?" He said, "Yeah." So I know if he sees that name, he's gonna want to, dice me up. So I wouldn't mind taking that matchup and see where I'm at, because that's probably one of the most talented route runners in the game.
Oh, for sure. And that's a cool story too. I definitely will be fun if you get to line up on him for sure. But, the next question's kind of in this nature as well. If you had to pick one quarterback to pick off in the NFL, who would you pick?
Oh, Tom Brady. That's no question. That's a great quarterback.
I think we're canning this question next year. It's always Tom Brady. And there's an off chance that it's not. What is it? We've gotten Aaron Rodgers before. We've gotten Patrick Mahomes. We've gotten Lamar Jackson. But pretty much it's always Tom Brady. So, yeah, definitely going to can that question next year. Thanks a lot, Blace.
That took no time at all.
So, I mean, obviously, we're talking NFL and we're a Rams-based podcast, so I have to ask you the burning question. Did you meet or have you spoken with the Los Angeles Rams at all as we, wind down towards the NFL draft?
I talked to a few of their scouts. I think I talked to some of them at the East-West Shrine game, and I know I talked to them at the Combine. But, I talked to them a little bit.
That's awesome. We love to hear that. And, whether you end up on the Rams or you end up somewhere else, we're going to, be cheering for you and watching what you do, because we have no doubt that you're going to do big things in the NFL. And, we can't wait to watch and cheer you on. And, just to wrap it up in your own words, who is Blace Brown as a player and who is he as a person?
Well, as a player, I mentioned it before, I'm just straight energy ball. Love the game of football. I'm going to always be around the ball. I mean, that's why my favorite player was Troy Polamalu. So, because he's just always around the ball. You always see him in the scene. And as a person, you did say as a person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a person, it's kind of the same thing. I'm always smiling. You're always going to see me involved with some extracurricular activities with little kids, because I'm a little kid kind of myself in the heart, so I love being around them, and they get used to me real quick. But, yeah, I'm just a very outgoing person, so that's what I call myself, outgoing.
Yeah, no, I definitely. I mean, it sounds to me like, I think any team would be lucky to bring you on and be able to call you their own. But, I mean, man, it's been a pleasure. We reached out kind of, unconventionally, like it was via your Instagram story. You said ask a question, so we asked, but really appreciate it, man. We're glad we're able to get you on. We're fans of you for sure. I've been watching you for a couple of years. You've been on my radar. But I'm glad. I think the injury talk, I want to say, I think that's overblown. I think you look very smooth in the DB drills for sure, and I think you're going to have a successful NFL career. But regardless of where you end up or anything like that, we're going to be fans of you. So Blace, it's been a pleasure. Let's stay in touch, man.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate supporters and being an underdog. You know how it is, so appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Blace.
You're welcome.
All right, man. You take care. Stay healthy.
Will do. Thank you.